you go and post. So you might be at that point right now where you only post when you have success. So that's fine. I think that's a great start, right? But the peak, where the ideal state is when you're a thought leader, when people look up to you for basically whatever you say is true. Like people take what you say as like, okay, that's gold. If Jeremy said it, it's true, right? So how do you get from here to here? I think it should be a steady climb. So I don't think there's a point to rush it. I think the best way to start actually, Jeremy, is to start commenting on other people's stuff. Start not just commenting, but also sharing their stuff. So I'd say right now, just find a few creators that you like, people that make content on LinkedIn. Not to plug myself, but find my account. I'm just playing. But there's some really great people, even in this room. I know like Blessing is in here. I'm not sure if that's Blessing Doga Man that's in there, but there's some great people. And when we get into more tactical, I even share with you some profiles of great people that I follow on LinkedIn, and just start there and just follow what they post and just comment on it. And not just popular people, like if Rabia posts something, if Assad posts something, like go and like actually engage with it, like it. You know, I think on Instagram, like liking something is like clout, but like on LinkedIn, it's actually the beauty of LinkedIn is if you post something and I like it or I comment on it, right? Not only do I get to engage with you, but now I'm exposed to the people that follow you. So let me explain what that means, right? If I make a post, AJ, if I make a post, right, and you come into my post and you leave a comment on that post, when the people in my network, when they also engage with that post, they get to see your comment and they get to engage with you. So you get exposed to people that are in my network, you get exposed to people that trust me. And if people see me talking to you on LinkedIn or talking back to you, then people that already trust me will start to trust me, like, oh, who's Rami? Maybe what he has to say is important. So the very first step is actually engage with other people's content, share it, and like it, comment, and share. Just do that consistently. Try to do that consistently for a month, and I promise you, it makes such a big difference because people start to notice you. People start to say, "Who's this guy? He has interesting thoughts," and they want to follow you. It's a similar idea to like like Twitter or Instagram, like except now you're not selling your good looks or like your fashion. You're selling knowledge, right? You're selling information. You're selling your expertise, right? And ultimately, that's what you want to be. You want to be a professional. You want to be able to sell your thoughts. Like what I come up with in my mind is actually valuable. But the way for people to notice that is when they see you start commenting on other people's things, they start discovering you. And they just start to follow you. And when you get to the point where people start to follow you, then start experimenting and just posting some things like I have this thought, like I think I believe in this thing and I think about this, then let me share it and let me see how people react to it. And you'll be surprised. The biggest thing that stops you from creating content that people love is yourself, because you think, oh, people don't think that people wouldn't find this valuable. But I promise people find a lot of things valuable, right? There's so many things that you think people don't know. But I remember I saw a tweet about a month ago on Twitter, and this person tweeted that if you want to, I think it was something like you can press Control-C to copy and Control-V to paste. And like that tweet had like 200,000 retweets, right? I'm like, what the hell? Like people didn't know. There are people on this planet that don't know that you can Control-C to copy and Control-V to paste, right? And you're probably listening right now. You're like, yeah, obviously everybody knows that. But no, there were 200,000 people that didn't know that, right? So a lot of information that you have, you take for granted because you just know it. There's so many people that don't know things. And I make that point to say there's things you know right now already that many people don't know. And you need to start to share those things. It's not just about you trying to look cool. It's actually a responsibility for you to share things that you know. And that's how you build your brand. That's how people start to notice you. And that's how people start to look to you for more information. And so does that answer your question?
Very much. Thank you, sir.
AJ, that was a really good response. Like, that's inspiring me.
No, thanks. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that this is, let's get into like your actual concerns and let's break it down and let's see how you can move forward.
Like you could go.
Hello, guys. My name is Leke Ayunusi. I have a question for AJ.
Hey, Leke, how you doing, man?
I'm doing very well, sir. I have a question. As a college student, as somebody who is looking to build the professional connections in order to potentially land in either a dream career role or to get myself in an entry-level position for an internship, what are things I should be doing on the platform that will represent me as a skilled engineer, even though I might or might not have a previous internship?
Oh, that's a great question. If you don't know, like a really awesome guy, man. I graduated from UH, super bright. He's currently an engineer at, I believe, Boeing, if I'm not mistaken. So just want to put that out there in case you don't know Lake A. So the question was, if I'm in college and let's say I'm getting close to graduation, how do I, and I don't have any internship experience, how do I brand myself as somebody that still knows like what's going on, somebody that has sense, somebody that actually has the skills or expertise? Uh, hey, Dr. J, I had to acknowledge the boss in the room, but, how do I present myself even if I'm in college and I don't have any internships? How do I present myself as somebody that's knowledgeable, as somebody that has a skill set to be an engineer? That's a great question. Before I answer that, let me just quickly check in. I think there's some new people in the room. So, hey, Omar, hey, Joy, hey, Kristen, Adrian, Ade, Aaron, Sham, Taha, Yakin, welcome. Welcome to our discussion. So right now we're just kind of going through questions and answers, and Licky just asked a great question. He says, if I'm in college and I don't, if I'm in college and I don't have any internship experience and I don't really have any industry experience, but I still want to get a job, how do I present myself as somebody that has the skills of somebody that's employable, someone that's professional enough to get the job? And that's a great question. I love it because it really forces you, I think, not having an internship or not having a traditional, like, oh, I had a great internship my freshman year and I had an awesome internship my sophomore year and I have a great GPA. I feel like if you have those things, you will graduate without learning real life skills, because even though, yes, you have these great, you have this great GPA and yes, you have these great internships, there's a chance that, yes, you probably just get hired at one of the companies you interned with and boom, you're gone. You have a nice job. But I think you actually learn a lot more when you didn't have those internships, when you didn't have that great GPA, because now you really have to figure out how to, eat when the food is not on the table for you, right? You have to figure out how do I get a job when my GPA is not even like the right GPA, or like I don't even have any internship skills. Like, how do I work at Chevron when I've never worked for any company in the past, right? Like my last job was at Chick-fil-A and I want to go work at Chevron. Like, how do I do that? One of the ways that I think really works is to do two things. One of them is to start working on projects of your own, right? It's like there's this there's this saying that goes like, play at the level you want to be at, or if you have a job at Chick-fil-A, for example, and you're flipping burgers and stuff, right? Like, and you want to be the manager of Chick-fil-A that day, then start managing people, start managing your cold burger flippers, right? Like start helping them, start scheduling them. So say, hey, cold burger flipper, like, are you able to come in tomorrow? If not, can I, start doing the work, or start acting like you're already in that higher role, and that's how you get there. And so the way that plays out with a college person is, okay, you'll say you're an electrical engineer, or you're a computer engineer, or whatever engineer you are. Even if you're not an engineer, you should start working on projects that people in the industry would work on, right? Like there's data sets out there. Let's say let's say you're a mechanical engineer. Like, go build a drone. I know that sounds crazy, but like, I mean, that's what it takes. Like, go watch YouTube videos, go watch Udemy videos, and build a drone. Like, you can get together with 3 other people and build something, and not just do that, but go on LinkedIn and share the process. Say, hey, everyone, I'm thinking about building a drone, and I don't know how to build a drone right now. I have an intern at an aviation company, but here's my step by step, and come in every day and share with people. Okay, here's my progress. I just added a wing today. I just added a propeller tomorrow. And it sounds crazy because nobody's doing it right now, and I think that's the problem. Because best believe if you do something like that, everybody will notice you. People, like even people in the industries, I bet you don't know how to make a drone. And so what's the fastest way to be a thought leader than doing something that nobody else knows how to do it, right? Like, okay, I'm doing this now. People are going to start looking to you like, oh, wow, like, how did you do it? How was your progress? What did you learn? And I promise you, if you were going for the same job as somebody that had an internship at Boeing, I promise you would get that job over them because you actually did something. You have something tangible to show for it. If you don't get that job at Boeing, you're going to get that job at Aviation LLC. Like, there's some company out there that will value your skill because they can see it as tangible. So I think, like, the answer to that question is, work on projects that can demonstrate your skill, but not just that. Like, there's so many people that work on projects, but like, nobody cares because you're not telling me about it, right? Like, you didn't, like, I know I didn't ask, but but that's why LinkedIn exists. So you can tell me, even though I didn't ask. Right? How many times have you gone on YouTube or gone on Instagram and you've seen a video that you didn't ask to see, but you enjoy the video regardless? Like you just go on YouTube and you're scrolling through it and just see a video on how to be a samurai, and you're watching it and you're like, wow, like like I didn't know like being a samurai was so cool. You didn't ask to see that video, but the content was engaging and content was helpful, and you just sat there and saw it. That's the same way LinkedIn works. Nobody asked you to show them how to make a drawing, but just show people, like share it with people. People noticing, people start to look up to you as a thought leader. Okay, this person knows how to make a drawing. They're probably smart as hell. They probably have a great GPA. So people start making assumptions about you that might not even be true, but will help you present yourself as that person. And when it's time to apply for a job, when you reach out to a recruiter that consumes your content, like a recruiter that's like, oh, wow, I saw you actually taught me how to make a drawing. Look at the drawing I made. And that's a recruiter, right? You can see how easy it'd be for you to get an opportunity that most people wouldn't have access to. So that's how I would approach that, Leke. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. You made a great point about documenting your projects and your journey, and showing people your thought process. I think that's something I didn't think about. In Instagram, you show your appearance, your lifestyle. On other platforms, you show something different. But here's the one chance you actually have to show how intellectually capable you are. So
Exactly.
great stuff. Appreciate it.
Exactly. So you definitely, that's spot on. That's spot on. I see some new people in the room. Hey Esther, how you doing? I think Desmond just joined. Okay, so just taking questions right now.
I got a question.
Yes.
So I'm connected with you on LinkedIn, and I see
Okay.
your kind of interaction with different people. You seem like a very genuine person. But when I look at other people's LinkedIn's, it kind of seems somewhat forced, somewhat like they're kind of doing corporate talk. So my question to you is, can I be myself on LinkedIn, or do I have to be professional?
That's a great question, Michael. And Michael's question is, when I go on LinkedIn, I see basically everybody's corny. Like everybody's trying to be professional. Everybody's using like, corporate language and trying to be, oh, I'm a LinkedIn person. And the question is, can I just be myself? Like I want to be my authentic self. And I would argue, Michael, that the only way to thrive on LinkedIn, to really thrive and to really build a community, is to be yourself. Like all that corporate structured, thoughtful, by the books talk would never set you apart. You're just gonna be like everybody else, right? Your goal is to build a brand that people recognize. Your goal is for recruiters to reach out to you and say, hey, we would like you to come interview with us because we like your thoughts on this and we like your thoughts on that. That's your ultimate goal, right? And in order to do that, you have to stand out. You have to be different. That's the whole point of a personal brand. Like when you think about, and I'm making this example, this is not to be just, I'm not intending to be vague here, but when you think about Apple, like how does that make you feel? How does the thought of just Apple make you feel, right? You're probably not even thinking about the fruit right now. You're thinking about the phone, which is the point, right? It's like, that's my point exactly, right? I just said Apple and you're not even thinking about the fruit. Like how does even just thinking about Apple, how does that make you feel, right? When people think about you, when people think about Michael, how do you want them to feel? You know what I mean? Like you have to really answer that question for yourself. Like, what do you want them to say? What do you want them to process in your mind? And that's how you have to approach this is, I don't want people to perceive me as corny. I want people to perceive me as being myself. I want people to perceive me as myself. And it's very hard to do, Michael. When you start off, I bet you'd be very tempted to try to fit in, right? You'd be tempted to like try to be like everybody else, like do the corporate talk, announce when you get an internship, announce when you get a new, when you get you just go on there, hey, look everyone, I just got a Dean's List award, or hey, everyone, I just got a scholarship, right? You're tempted to do that because that's what everybody does and that's what's common. But very quickly, I think for you to actually thrive, you need to break away from that and start sharing more. Start being, the key word is vulnerable. Share things that make you feel uncomfortable. Share things that when you click send, you're like, oh my God, like, did I just send that? Like do that. If you don't feel uncomfortable still by the things you're sharing. You've not giving yourself enough opportunity to thrive. You've not given the platform enough opportunity to propel you. So if you've never, if you've never felt, if you don't get to a point where you feel like, oh my God, like I don't feel I'm not, I'm scared, like what people think, like that's good. That's the feeling you want, because then you're actually developing yourself as a person, but you're also sharing things that most people won't share, because most people, when they feel uncomfortable, they like, nah, I don't want to share that, right? And as we progress, I'll share with you some posts that I've made that when you read it, you're like, whoa, like, why would you share something like that? But those posts have actually garnered the most engagement. Tell you what, I'll share with you a post right now that I made on my LinkedIn, and let's see if I can pull up that post. So you see the kind of posts I'm referring to. They're not posts that like everybody makes, and that's the point. So let's see. So I'm gonna share my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes. So here's a post I shared several months ago. And this post reads, I'm not in a rush to give a TED Talk. I'm not in a rush to be on the cover of your favorite business journal. I know so much, but I also know my much is little. The more I learn, the more I realize I must learn. I'll share what I know now, but I'm not in a rush to sell your book. I'm still learning, and you should be too. That's probably my first poem, right? That was very uncomfortable. Like I wrote this poem, on my notes on my iPhone, and I was like, you know what? I want to share this with LinkedIn, because this is authentic. It's how I really feel. Like I'm not, people look up to me as like this genius or this person that figured it all out, but it's like, no, I don't really know anything. Like even the more I learned, the more I realized, oh my God, like I'm basically dumb. You know what I mean? And so I wanted to really tell that story to people, and it was very uncomfortable sharing this. But I'm going to scroll down a bit, and you see the reaction to this post, right? This is LinkedIn, and look. Over 80,000 people, over 70,000 people viewed this. Over 1,000 people liked it and celebrated this, right? Like people were literally looking at this and like, wow, like I love this. Like this is great. Like people are celebrating this. People are commenting on this, saying, wow, like this is, obviously people like the suit, right? Because people thought the suit was nice. But people were actually, and this is even Kenneth, he's on the call. My big boss, it was like, yeah, like people were actually engaged with the post, right? And this is not a post that people are comfortable making on LinkedIn, and that's the point, right? Now, I remember when I started, I was at Chevron, and I actually won within my group at Chevron. I actually won an award for the best dress in the office, and when I was winning the award, I remember there was like, they would put it on the PowerPoint, like, oh, here's this person and here's your award, right? And they put up this picture in the presentation screen in the conference room, and I was like, how did you find that picture? But then it clicked, oh my God, like people are actually noticing these things, right? Like these are not numbers. These are not like 1,000 people. These are human beings. These are not just, kids. These are professionals, right? These are over 1,000 professionals engaging with this post. And you create posts like this consistently. There's people that know who you are. These people that care about you. These people that resonate with you. These people that, get to know you on a personal level, on a deeper level than all the other surface things. And so that's the point I was trying to make with this post. But you should get to the point where you're comfortable sharing things like this. Because the first time I bet you try to write something like this, you're going to feel like, oh my God, like this is scary. I don't want to share this. This is personal. But that's where you want to aspire to get to, because that authenticity will shine through. So does that answer your question?
Yes, you answered it.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Perfect. So to everyone that maybe might just joined, so we're talking about how to leverage LinkedIn to reach your professional goals, to how to get jobs, the jobs that you're looking to get, how to build a brand that you want, how to get people to give you opportunities that maybe you don't feel like you deserve, things like that. And it's not just it's yes with using LinkedIn, but also just how to navigate like life as a professional, how to navigate life going from college to being a professional. What does networking really look like? We're breaking it down. We're breaking down exactly step by step how to achieve different things using LinkedIn and using everything else. So welcome. I see Emmanuel on the call. Emmanuel is a really, really bright guy. I think he's currently a machine learning engineer. At JP Morgan. Derek, welcome, Derek. I'm trying to see if I think Joe just joined. So welcome, everyone. But right now I'm just taking questions. Let's see if you have any other questions. So I know I also got some questions prior to this. I think when people were signing up, there were some questions people asked. So I can also walk through some of those questions if I'm not hearing some new ones.
I have a question.
I got a question.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so let's say I'm a freshman, I have no experience, and I want to reach out to that first recruiter. What does the message typically look like? Am I asking for an internship? Am I asking about their company, asking about themselves? What do you typically do, or what have you seen that's successful?
Right. So let me just let everyone in on a little secret. Most professionals that you like reach out to and you're like, hey, give me an internship, they actually cannot give you an internship, not because you're bad people. It's just you're actually not in a position to give you an internship. I don't care if you're a manager, a senior manager. If you're not a recruiter that's actively recruiting or a hiring manager that's hiring for their team, there's not much they can do to directly give you an internship. But what they can do is they can refer you to somebody that can give you an internship, right? And why would they want to refer you? They have to like you. Why should they like you? Because you're likable or because you're valuable. And so the reason why I'm telling you that is don't ever as a freshman just go up to a recruiter and be like, give me an internship. You will not get an internship. I can guarantee you that. But what you want to do is, as a freshman, I would actually argue that you should try to play the long game, right? Try to get that internship your sophomore year. Don't get me wrong. I've seen people get internships their freshman year at big companies. It's possible. Don't get me wrong. But the way I would play it is, as a freshman, I would spend my time making sure I have a great GPA. So make sure you have a 4.0. Like anything less than a 4.0, there's work to be done. That's just how I look at it, right? There's more work to be done. There's more improvement to be made. So make sure you have a stellar GPA. Meet a bunch of recruiters, but don't ask them for internships directly. Don't say, hey, yeah, you might, share with them, I'm open to an internship opportunity if you have something like that. But I wouldn't be super high pressure, I need an internship, because 9 times out of 10, you don't even have enough, you haven't taken any courses that might be helpful. 9 times out of 10, you also, maybe you don't have a bunch of projects under your belt. So you're already competing from it's hard for you to compete with people that are like juniors that might already have internships, right? So I'll say, make sure you have a great GPA, but those recruiters, like, keep in contact with them, add them on LinkedIn, check in with their family. Like, how are they feeling? Like, it's COVID-19, right? Like, how are they doing? Like, check in with them, offer value to them. Like, say, hey, can I help you? At the career fair, at your freshman year career fair, like, get them water. I did that. Like, I'm not telling you things I never did, right? Like, volunteer for the career fair and carry water to recruiters and smile with them and get to know them as a person. Like make a friend. If that makes sense, just make a friend. Like if I had a job, if I was hiring right now and Assad was like, hey, AJ, like, I need a job. Like, you think I would think twice? You think I would, yes, I would interview him, but you think that's like a real interview? That's bullshit. I'm just trying to make it look cool. Like, I'm going to hire the dude because I love Assad. You know what I mean? Like, make a friend. And if you come to it from that perspective, especially your freshman year, I think that's the best way to go. Just make a lot of friends that so happen to be able to give you a job at some point. And you never know, in that freshman year, you might actually convert that into a full-time job. But I think even at any time in your undergrad, just make friends. Like, be genuine about those relationships. Don't just like meet people and ask them for a job. That's annoying, and people can see right through that instantly if you just laughing for a job. Like, make a friend, and just know that, like, trust the process. That, like, if somebody's your friend, you're more likely to give you a job, which I don't think is like that's how it works.
I have a question to bounce off.
Yes.
To make that friend, how do you feel about cold messaging and like reaching out to recruiters and professionals within an industry or a specific company that you don't have a current network in? How do you feel about that? And how do you make sure that it's an authentic message and it doesn't come off in a wrong way?
Yeah, so that's great. In terms of just like cold reaching out, most of the people that helped me in my early, when I was still navigating just corporate America, a lot of those connections, my trusted mentor right now, the person I turn to for most things, I cold emailed her, I think like 4 years ago now. I think it was like 4 years ago. Now, like, we text every day because she's like, we're just like best friends now. But she was an executive, she was an executive at before Exxon and Mobil. I think she was an executive at Mobil, and there was this other company where she was like in the C-suite, and she was also an executive at Accenture, and she, really, really great person. And I found her contact on like an SBE form, but I just cold emailed her, and I forgot the exact message in the email. But the point is, cold messaging works, but you have to do it the right way. So now, once again, this is the key word here is empathy, right? Like, think to yourself before you send out that cold email. Think to yourself, this is important, but think to yourself, if I receive this exact email from a random person that I don't know, how would I feel? Would I respond or would I not? Like, take your ego out of it. Take away like, oh, what I care about, but just look at the email and say, okay, we'll look at the note and say, if I got this note from a random person today, what would I respond? What would I say? And before, while you think about that, think about this. What if I got that email from a random person and I am a really busy person and I barely have 5 minutes of the day to breathe, right? Like, I'm working every day, I'm an executive or I'm a recruiter, and I get thousands of this email every single day, and I'm super busy, and I have a 9-year-old daughter at the house, and I also have a 3-year-old daughter at the house, and so I have my family that's like my family. I have a family that demands a lot from me. I have a job that demands a lot from me, and I also have other hobbies. I like to read, I like to do other things, and I just got this random email from this person. Why should they respond to you? And the answer is they shouldn't. Like, they're busy. Like, they shouldn't even respond to you in the first place. So start from, don't be, when you send out emails or you send out messages, don't be entitled. Start from a position of, they shouldn't respond to this. Like, that's ridiculous to think that they would respond to it. Like, it's actually, I'm saying it right now, it's absolutely ridiculous to expect somebody to respond to a random college kid that's sending them an email when they have a job, they have a family, they have a life, and they literally don't have any incentive to respond to you. So start with that frame of mind. Like, this message should not be responded to. So now that I've made that clear, now your job is now to, how do I get them to respond? How do I get them to change their mind? How do I get them to ignore 99 other emails and respond to mine? How do I get them to ignore 100 other emails and respond to mine? Because that's what's happening. And the way you do that is you offer value first. So always go into every new relationship offering value first. Always go into every conversation with, and this is not just like we're trying to get a job. In life in general, always go with, how can I help you? What can I do for you? Why should you respond? How does that benefit you? Like, what does me being friends with you, how does that add value to your life? How does that help you? It's not about me, right? Like, they shouldn't even respond. We just talked about that. My message should go to their spam if we're being serious, right? So it's like, why should they take my message out of your spam box and read it and look at it and be like, I want to respond to this guy? It's because they have to have something to benefit from responding to me. And so it's your job to figure out, what is that thing that I can offer them? Sometimes it's, you know how to build a drone and they might be able to learn from you. Sometimes it's like, I've seen mentorships or relationships where like the college kid is like, he trades Forex, and for some reason the professional wants to trade Forex. I'm not endorsing Forex or anything on this call. That's not my goal at all. But I'm just saying, I've seen random things like that. I've seen things like, people golf together. I've seen that as well. Once again, not saying you should be a golfer, but I've seen things like, and golf is a huge secret. It's one of those things where, and once again, I'm not endorsing it. I suck at golf, but it's one of those things where like a lot of people golf, and if you just reach out to them, I'd love to golf with you, like that's like a hack. Like, people will like just take you up on that offer. You have a whole weekend to talk with them. But find something that maybe they might like read through your LinkedIn. LinkedIn it's like a really good tool. You can spy on people, you can stalk people, and that's okay. Like, read through their LinkedIn, read through what they like, what they enjoy, what they find valuable. If you see them, maybe they write, maybe they post articles. Like, go read your article. Like, for example, like if you want to approach me, like, one good hack would be, and let me show you something. So, I'm not capping. So here's my, let's see if I can show you. So here's my LinkedIn. This is all exclusive information, and forgive me if you're, so can you all see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So here's my inbox, right? And once again, I'm showing you this to know that, like, I'm not making these things up. Here's my inbox. So this is all April 14. This is April. Are you seeing these on red messages? This is all April. We're still in April 10th. We're still April 10th, right? All these messages. Are you noticing that I'm responding to some and I'm ignoring most of them? Why am I responding to some of them? Why am I responding to specific ones? Why? You have to ask yourself that. Because most get ignored because I just get way too much, right? Why did I accept his? Like, why why did I respond to this question? Why do I ignore most people and why do I respond to some? You know, like you have to think about that. Look how many messages go ignored. And it's not because I'm a bad person. It's just because like I don't have time to respond to everybody. And there's, you know, I have to make prioritizations. And I'm not even the most busy person in the world. Like I'm the average person, right? And I still get this many emails. I still get this many messages. And I'm not capping. These are things I'm ignoring consistently, right? I'm still scrolling, right? We haven't gone far. And so I'm trying to make a point to you that you have to stand out. There is an inbox. And so if you've messaged me and you're like, oh, AJ, why didn't you respond? Not because I hate you. I just get too many messages, right? And so why should I respond to you? You better be coming with something valuable to me. You better be coming with like, oh, hey, AJ, I just read your article and I think you made a typo. You think I would respond to that? Of course, I would respond to that. I'm like, oh my God, I made a typo in my post. Oh, dang, let me go fix that, right? That's value. You just added value to me because you just made me look less stupid to my audience because I just made a post and I made a typo, right? Or you come to me like, hey, I read your article. I thought it was great. Here's some tips. Oh, hey, I would like to help you with, you know, your company. Like I'm a graphic designer and I know you have a design agency. I would like to help there. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I think it was actually a message like that. Maybe it was on Twitter. And don't get me wrong, like the same way I get messages on LinkedIn, like I get messages like this on Twitter, on Instagram. I'm having to prioritize who I respond to, how I respond, what commitments I make, right? And I send messages too that people don't respond to me, but do you think I get offended? Of course not, because I know what it's like. I understand what it's like. And you have to understand, that. And so I show you these things because that's the reality of the world we live in, right? Think about executives. You send them messages, they won't respond to you. I'll show you. Let me show you, because I want to be as honest with you guys as possible about how this thing works. So let me see if I could I'll find an example of somebody I've emailed that never responded to me. And like I'm not a small boy, you know, like I've accomplished quite a bit in my life, right? But I'll show you people that don't respond to me and it's okay. What did you say?
I appreciate you.
No, of course. Let me see if I can find, oh boy. I'm trying to, because I really want to be, I want to be authentic about this. Like, it's pretty, like, I want to show you exactly how networking works. Let's see. I don't want to take too much of your time as well. So maybe I'll take another question and answer that while I search through to find an example of a message that I didn't get responded to, but I kept following up and I still don't get responded to, and that's okay, because that's how it works. Let's see. So I'm open to other questions while we're at it.
Hi, AJ.
Hey.
My question is not really about like LinkedIn per se. I'm a petroleum engineer major, and
Okay.
I was just wondering, like, what are your thoughts about like how to behave right now? Because right now, you know, the oil industry is, you know, really bad. Right. How would a student, you know, behave in this crisis? And knowing that maybe you'll be graduating pretty soon, how can you stand out despite everything that's going on?
So that's a great question. I'm taking note of that right now. So how do you stand out in a COVID environment? So let me take that, Lauren. That's a great question. I'll make sure I don't forget this. Okay, so now I have an example of a person that doesn't respond to me. So let's see. I'm going to share my screen once again. And this is me exposing myself, right? This is me being vulnerable to you. And that's the point, because the same way I ignore people, people ignore me too. That's okay. So you see my screen? So here's somebody, Darrell Willis, right? Great guy. This guy was the president of BP Angola. So, you know, not shabby in terms of his accomplishments, you know, really great guy. And then he got recruited by Google as VP of Oil and Gas at Google. And then Microsoft poached him from Google, right? So he's just, you know, doing his thing. And so I thought, this would be a great person to sort of, get to know. And maybe like, I feel like there's things he knows that I can benefit from knowing, like, which is not unreasonable because this guy is obviously well accomplished, especially in the energy space, right? So these are the people that you want to get to know. You want to get to learn more about how they do what they do. So guess what I did? I emailed him, right? And you all can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I emailed him and I just sent him a note, right? This was a long time ago. So he reached out to him. So I was like, hey, and this is as good as it gets, right? This is a professional, well-crafted message. This is what AJ sends, right? And so I say, hey, Daryl, thanks for connecting. I'm inspired by career path. I'd like to learn more about your experience. You have 15 minutes. I didn't even ask for much. Just come on 15 minutes. Look at the date. This was June 7, 2018. This was 2 years ago now. And he was like, yeah, let's do later this month. Like, I don't have time. Let's do later this month. This was June 7th. It was like the next weeks are tough, and that's okay. And I said, hey, that sounds perfect. I'll check in with you close to the end of the month, right? End of the month comes, right? Like I'm not like I don't play games. The end of the month comes, I follow up. I'm like, hey, how's this weekend or next week? My schedule's flexible, right? Whatever, just let me know. June 30th, a week later, he says, nah, schedule is hectic. Like, here's your number, I'll call you, right? This is like the VP of energy this is the president of VP Angola. This is a VP at that time he was still at Google, right? He's a big shot, right? He's running Google's energy business. This is huge, right? So like he's on the news. Like I can Google him right now. You see this man is like, he's popping. So obviously like this is a person that I would want to get to know. Like if I Google him, I'm making this a point, right? Like, how do you network with people like this? This is a well, like he's on the news. He's like a big shot, right? Some of you are try to get to talk to him. He says, nah, schedule is hectic. So I understand. Here's my number. So boom, boom. That's June. He never calls me. October comes around. Guess what I do? I follow up. I share with him an article that I read that he might be interested in. That's October. Guess what? He's not interested. He doesn't even respond to me. April 2019 comes around. Guess what I do? I tell him happy birthday. The end of April comes around. He doesn't respond to that. I say, hey, just an update. I plan to accept a job at Chevron. Just FYI. He responds. He's like, congrats. What does that tell you? It means he reads it. He just doesn't respond until he cares. And so I told him I'm about to take a job. He says, congrats. I'm like, okay, cool. And guess what? That took like 15 days to respond to that, by the way, right? Like I sent him, hey, I'm taking a job. 2 weeks later, he responds, right? So I said, thank you. August last year, I tell him, hey, are you based out of Houston? I just started at Chevron. I'd love to connect. Are you in Houston or Manville? Like I'll fly to you. That's cool. No response. January of 2020, guess what I do? I follow up again. I'm like, hey, dude, I just saw that you like went from Google to Microsoft. Like, I saw you just got a new job. I follow up. Guess what? He doesn't respond. And that's okay. Because now it's like, what is it now? It's like April. Like, I'm going to follow up next month again. That's okay. Because guess what? I know every time I send a message, I know he reads it. And I know one day he's going to call my phone and be like, AJ, I just started a new startup in the energy space and I just raised $1 billion. And I want you to come run it because you're consistent, because you follow up, and because I followed your career for the past 3 years. And I see that your smile delivers result. That's how it works. So was that helpful to anybody?
No, really helpful.
Very helpful.
I like that.
Hell yeah.
That's a weird gem, bro.
Okay. So like, I mean, I'm just showing you like, this is real game. This is how it works. And imagine me doing that with Daryl, but imagine how many people I do that with, how many people I follow up with, just because I want to make a genuine connection, but because I go with the approach that they should not respond to me. I'm just an ant. Like I'm literally nothing like to them. Like, why should they respond to me? Right. But they will if you are consistent, and if you are not if you have empathy for them, and if you don't take yourself too serious, and you don't think of yourself as this big person, this big shot, because you're not. Like, we're not big shots, right? Even when you think you're a big shot, you're not a big shot, right? Like, you reach out to Bill Gates, he's gonna ignore you, right? Like, but there's a way to do that, and it's really being consistent, being thoughtful in the kinds of things you're saying, and being valuable, right? Like, find things that add value, and that's how you do it. So I'm gonna take the next question that I took note of from Florian, and see, I said I wasn't gonna forget. And so the question is, how do you stand out in COVID as a student? So great question. I think that before I answer that question, let me see if there's new people. Hey Jerry, welcome to the conversation. Hey Sarah, welcome. Hey Lauren, welcome. Hey Cleo, welcome. Hey, is that Cleopatra? Hey, welcome to the conversation. Hey Iman, hey Mary. Uh, hey, welcome to the conversation. So we're just talking about how to leverage LinkedIn to prepare yourself, how to leverage LinkedIn to get opportunities that you might traditionally not have gotten, how to get jobs, how to get recruiters reaching out to you, and not just leveraging LinkedIn, but just leveraging the art of networking and the art of connecting with people to create opportunities for yourself. So that's really what we're talking about. And right now I'm just taking questions from everyone, but because we're not just talking high level, like, oh, here's a big idea. We're breaking it down step by step, exactly how to leverage LinkedIn, exactly how to leverage relationships. One of the questions I'm answering now, is in a world where we have coronavirus, how do you get a job, or how do you stand out in a world where there's coronavirus? It's a different world, and let's say you're just graduating. I think it's incredibly difficult to do, actually. I think, and just being real, like, this is not something that people in our generations have experienced before. This is new. This is different for everybody, right? The world is responding in a very unique way, and I think that I think what's going to set you apart in a time like this is ingenuity, your ability to because it's an experience that we've never experienced before. It's going to be important for you to do things that people haven't done before, right? So do things that AJ hasn't done before, come up with things that AJ hasn't come up with, right? Because these are new times, right? So ingenuity is really going to set you apart, right? How can you present yourself in ways? One of them is I think one clear one is like having a digital presence is obviously like, look, like, come on, like, there's no, you can't, your nice suit is not going to do you any good right now, because your firm handshake is not going to do any good right now. What brand do you have on LinkedIn? What brand do you have on Twitter? What brand do you have on Instagram now? That's what's making a difference, right? Like, why should people listen to you? Like once again, I'm real as hell. Like, you guys are all listening to me right now. Like, you guys are all taking time out of your day to listen to me. Why are you listening to me, right? There's something that I've built. There's a personal brand that I've built. You like my LinkedIn content. Like, that's how this works. Like, it's not rocket science, right? Like, that's why you listen to me. And so I'm saying that to say that's why there's people on this call right now, great people, they're killing it, doing way better than I am. Like, these are people that are very successful, right? But they're still taking the time to, maybe there's nothing for them to even learn from this because they already know most of these things, right? But they just want to be around, like, because they value our relationship, they value our friendship. Like, that's how this works. I'm just being real, right? So building that brand, building that professional, that digital brand that really speaks for you and goes forward, I think that's going to be super important. And that's why I think this call is very important. Because you do have to build that brand. You do have to present yourself as somebody that's worth listening to, as somebody that's worth working with, as somebody that's likable, someone that has something to say. That's super important. And with that being said, like, I don't want us to end this without showing you some step by step, in terms of how to actually do that. Like, you might be sitting there today and say, okay, wow, this is all good and this is all cool. But I don't have a LinkedIn, or maybe I have a LinkedIn and, it kind of sucks right now. Or maybe I have a LinkedIn and I really don't know what to say. I really don't have anything. So here's a step-by-step. Like, go on LinkedIn right now and, whether you have a LinkedIn or not, if you don't have a LinkedIn, that's okay. Like, make a LinkedIn like tonight, and go on LinkedIn and I'll show you. And after this, I also have another resource for you that walks you step by step. So after this call, it's not the end of it. I have a resource that Blademy put together, and Blademy is my education company, put together, that walks you step by step from I don't have a LinkedIn to every single thing you need to set up on your LinkedIn. That will take you from like I'm this person who doesn't know how to use LinkedIn to like a lot of things we talked about, but even more hands-on step by step. So I'll share that with you before this call is over, but I'll also share that. I'll share that through Rabbi and Assad. But here's what you can do today that can start changing the game for you. So I'll share my screen once again, and you can go on LinkedIn today, whether you have one. If you don't have one, make one. I think today it's actually really important because it's like there's no meet in person. Internships are virtual now. People losing their jobs. Like, your best bet these days is to have a virtual presence. Make a LinkedIn. And first thing I just want you to do is start with your abouts. Like, think about yourself. Think about like, how do I describe myself in, like 100 words or less? Like how, like, this is such an important exercise, right? Because how, like, you start to realize very quickly, like, oh my God, like, who am I? Like, who am I really? And that's important. Like come up with something. Once again, the resource I'm going to share with you after this will help you walk through this process. But describe yourself. Like tell people, like, what do you, like, people talk about your elevator pitch. No, like, what is your digital pitch? Like, what should somebody look at right now and be like, oh, like, I know this person, right? Like, come up with something. Then go to your find people that are interested and like follow them. You can go through my list of people that I'm connected with, like, oh, go to my posts and go through the comments. You see some really dope people sharing really cool thoughts, like follow them. Go ahead and upload all your experiences and put pictures. Like people want to, like in the age of COVID-19, like just saying I'm a product program manager, like what does that even mean? Well, if you click a picture, it means like I actually work with people. Like I run like boot camps and I run programs, and it means that like, I have fun doing it. And it means that, I'm also really good at it because I got a human energy award. Like these are things you want to communicate, right? Like start doing that. Like talk about your involvement in NSB, talk about pictures of you on this call right now. Like these things are important. Like one thing, in fact, with that being said, like I'll get to that right now. But update these things. Upload your education. Like, look, I went to U of H, but I have pictures of that too. Like, do you have pictures on your LinkedIn right now that you went to U of H? Like, who like, why should anybody believe that you went to U of H? Like, anybody can write I went to U of H, but like, I have a picture that shows that not only did I go to U of H, I was also helpful. I was carrying bags for freshmen at freshman orientation. I have pictures of that. It's documented, right? And this is Jamil. This is the former NSB president, right? Like we carried things together, right? Like I have pictures of me with the president, Rena Couture, right? Now, of course, it's clear that I obviously went to, I'm repping NSB, right? These things that you should go update right now on your LinkedIn. Upload, your organizations, upload these things. That's a very first step. And in terms of the first content you should make, if you're thinking, okay, what do I post? How do I start my thing? Take a screenshot right now of this chat and post it and tag me, and I will respond. I'll engage with that post and just tag me and say, hey, I literally just got off this webinar with Nesby, Blademy, and AJ, and I learned this and this and this. I promise you, just do that. Like, don't hesitate. Don't think like, oh my God, like that's the whole point. If you feel uncomfortable, that's the point. Just go share that right now. Look, I just attended this webinar and I learned, just share one thing that you learned. You'd be surprised how many people find that thing valuable, that nugget of information. I just learned this information from Asia. I just learned this information from Blademy. I just learned this information from Nesby, from this webinar. And take a screenshot, make it visual, right? It's not like you didn't make it up, right? It's true, because here's a screenshot. Post it and see how people react to it. And I think that'll be your first just exposure to like sharing authentic content, because this is authentic. You did this, right? Like, why not talk about it? Because you did it. No, like not everybody's on this call right now learning how to leverage LinkedIn to improve your personal brand. Not everybody's doing it. So why are you hiding the fact that you are investing time into your professional career? Don't do it. Share it. Talk about it. That's the whole point. So you better make that post. And I promise you, I will find all the posts as long as you tag me in it. And I will find the posts and I will engage with them and I'll comment on them. I'll reshare them because that's the point. But I definitely, take pictures of it. Make sure people know that, yes, this is real. Like I did this. So with that being said, Assad and Rabia, let me know if we still have time and how much time we have, and then I can share some of those resources I talked about.
It's an open floor. So whenever, if they have any more questions or if you want to wrap it up, question. Share it out. Ooh, all right.
Doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Micah.
Hey, Micah.
And my question. Hi. I would like to learn, how do I respond when I see the company search me on LinkedIn right after I apply to that company? Thank you.
That's a great question, Micah. So the question is, how do you respond to a company when you see that they searched you on LinkedIn? So when a company searches you, how do you respond to that? So I think that's funny, right? Like there was a time I remember when I was unsure. A lot of people were unsure if when you apply to a company, if they search you online. Like it was one of those things where like, I don't know, do they look you up on Facebook? Do they look you up on Instagram? I can tell you today that absolutely they do. Every time you apply to a company, I can guarantee you they are looking you up on LinkedIn. They are looking you up on Facebook. They are looking you up. Like it's not a question anymore. They do that. I do that when people apply to Blademy. me. Like everybody does that. It's not common knowledge. So with that being said, the first thing you can do that you can control is, and I say this a lot, but I need you to listen to me. When people, you know this for a fact, when I apply to a job, people will look at my LinkedIn. When they look at your LinkedIn, what do you want them to see? How do you want them to feel? What do you want their reaction to be? Because you can control that, right? You can control that experience. It's like, I know this. I know when I send an application, I know they look at my LinkedIn. Now the question is, what do I want them to see? Right? Like you can control that. You can curate that. You can present what you want them to see. And let me show you what that looks like. So LinkedIn just rolled out a new feature, I think like 2 weeks ago. And I know because I'm such a LinkedIn head. But now when somebody opens your profile, first they see your about, which is, you can always, I already told you to do that. That's super important. But the next thing is featured. You can literally put a bunch of posts and feature them to where people, when they look at your LinkedIn, and it doesn't have to be like, even if like it's a person I've never met before, like, I'm going incognito, which just means like I'm logged out of LinkedIn. So let's say, let me find my profile on LinkedIn. So I go incognito and somebody just this is a random person, right? This person is, I'm not even connected to. They go on my LinkedIn, like, what do they see? This person is not even signed in, right? What do they see, right? Like they see your about, they see, your experience. They see all these things you've done, right? That's so important. But let's look at someone that is signed in. They probably see a lot more, right? So they see my featured. What does this mean? These are things that I want them to see. These are things I want people to see when they look at my LinkedIn. So all of a sudden, boom, the first thing they see is, oh, he spoke at South by Southwest. This is like the largest like conference in this is one of the largest tech and interactive conferences, right? Like, and what did he speak at on South by Southwest? He spoke about building a professional brand on LinkedIn. Like he spoke on a LinkedIn panel at South by Southwest. This is huge. Obviously, people are going to think that I know what I'm talking about when I talk about LinkedIn, right? Because I spoke for LinkedIn at South by Southwest. It doesn't get better than that, right? I want them to see that. That's why like it didn't just appear there. I put it there because I want them to see it, right? Oh, what else has he done? Let's see. He's the youngest keynote speaker at ExxonMobil. He did this, and there's all these reactions, right? Like, I want you to see that when you look at my LinkedIn, because I want you to build a narrative of me, of things that I've done, I'm proud of, right? I also want you to see my authenticity. I want you to see me in a pink suit talking about with my poem. I want you to see, that's why I put it there. I want you to see things that I talk about. And I say this to say, when you go to my profile right now, these are the things you're going to see, and you're going to look at them. And based on what you see, you're going to decide if you want to invite me to come speak about LinkedIn, right? Like on a Nesby panel, right? These are things, this is what you do. You curate what you want them to see. So if you're applying to, let's say you're applying to Tesla, right? Like work on a rocket project and put it right there, feature it, put it right there, put it right there, put it right there that, hey, look, I built a rocket. And then you apply to a Tesla or SpaceX and they come in, you're like, huh, who is this guy or who is this girl? And you're like, oh, she built a rocket and we're SpaceX. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can control what people see. And so that's my point is think about what you want them to see because you know for a fact there. So it's not about responding to them. Like you don't have to like go DM them and say, I noticed you just looked at my profile. No, but you can control what they see. So they don't have to know that they looked at it, but they looked at it and you know what they saw and they know what they saw. And based on that information, a connection will be made. There's going to be a match or not a match, but it's important for you to tell your story so they see what you want them to see. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Perfect. So any other questions? I'm going to take one or two more questions and then we can give everyone your time back. Okay, so was there a question? Take one question.
This is the second part to the first question. Do you think it would be appropriate to contact them or just don't? Just let them search and just let them do my profile and like see my brand.
So when you apply to a company and you know the person that's recruiting or the hiring manager that's hiring, I think it's a great idea when you apply to always follow up with that person. So if you know who posted the application or you know who's hiring for that position, I think it's a great idea to always just send them a note even before they look at your profile. So there's two things that does. One, they might respond to you, which is great, and you schedule an interview. But two, they might not respond to you, which is okay. But you know what? They read it. You remember we talked about that. They read it, and because they read it, they probably viewed your profile. Look, when I view your profile, You don't know that. You know why? Because I have premium. I have a premium account, and I've changed my settings to where when I view your profile, you will not know that I viewed your profile. I paid for that privilege. A lot of recruiters have that privilege. So when they look at your profile, you would not get notified because they have premium and they've changed their settings, right? Like this is real. And so, but when you send them a note, you know that they probably clicked on your name and they probably looked at your profile, right? If they respond or not. So I think it's a great idea to still, but it's not like in a creepy way, like, oh, I noticed you just viewed my profile. No, just follow up with them when you apply for a job. And just know that like you make sure you've curated what you're about, what do they see about you, what pictures do they see, how do they feel when they look at your profile, all those things. That's homework. That's what you have to do.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. So I'm going to share like I said, the resource I talked about. So we actually put together a course series. This is Blademy on, and the premise of this is how to build your brand on LinkedIn, how to leverage LinkedIn for professional success and to get opportunities, to create opportunities for yourself that people don't traditionally have. Like I said, I was hired as a manager at Chevron, running a international program right out of college, and this is opportunities that they're not traditional. It's not something that you just like apply for, and the only way I was able to do that is by emailing people that don't respond to me and following up and making making sure I'm controlling my narrative, I'm telling my story, and I'm being vulnerable. These all these things, right? But at a very low level, technical level, there's a resource I'm going to share with you. It's so this is the Blademy YouTube channel, and we actually made a course series. And let me share my screen with you, so so if you go on the Blademy YouTube, which is just youtube.com/Blademy, there's a course series, and it's the Millennials Ultimate Guide to LinkedIn, and it's a 7-video series course. So it tells you about how to create a remarkable profile, how to different examples of people that we think have great LinkedIn profiles and how to make yours look like theirs, or look better. How to things that you should probably not do on LinkedIn. There's things you should do, things you shouldn't do. How to create content. We talked about how to create posts and posts that people like and stuff like that, get a lot of reach. Also just walking you through the LinkedIn platform, and here's me talking about what success actually it looks like when you are thriving on LinkedIn. So this is free, accessible to you right now, for you to take a look at when you get a chance. So I'll post this link. In the chat, but I'll also share it with Asad, Rabia, if they want to share it with you all. We're also going to put out a deck format too that might be easily digestible. So, but I'll share this right now, and then but definitely take a look at it. Walk through your LinkedIn. I sent it privately. It's funny. Here you go. So this is for the playlists. This is I'm going to share just the YouTube channel with you as well, because there's going to be more content coming out that you should check out. You can follow me and reach out to me anytime. I promise I will not ignore you, because guess what? We're family, and we just spent the last hour talking on this call, and that's how it works. And so just reach out to me. Let me know if you have questions. I will share with you my website. It has all my contact information. So my Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, my GitHub if you're into tech, and please connect with me. And yeah, I wish you all the best, and I know you would kill it. But like I said, I know it might feel daunting. I know as much as and I'm being real right now, right? I know, because I know I've been here before, right? But I know as much as I've tried to break things down, I know it might not be broken down enough to actionable steps. And like I said, your first step when you leave this call is to take a screenshot of this post, of this screen right now of you. Go on your LinkedIn and post it and say, hey, I was on a webinar with Nesby, AJ, and Blademy, and I learned this, and just post it. That's your first step. And if you feel uncomfortable, that's the point. You want to post something different. You want to share your story along on your journey. And I will engage with that post, and I'll comment on it, I'll share it. But that's your first step. That's homework right now after this call. And the next step will be to go to the Blademy YouTube and check out the free videos. These are 4K videos. I mean, it's professionally made, and it's really breaking down even further, step by step, how to make your profile stand out and how to start creating content that people like. Iron proof. Look, let me show you, because I want to be real. Look at my and we can just end with this, but this is proof that what I'm telling you works. I'm not making this up. So I'll show you a few of my recent posts. How do you even see my posts? It's funny, I don't know how to use LinkedIn. Where are my posts?
Go to see all on your activity, and then it should be there.
Right here?
On activity, go down a little bit more. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. Yeah, I don't know how to use LinkedIn, yeah. But go on LinkedIn, and I'll show you that this works, right? So I'm just scrolling through my posts, right? This is an example of a webinar we did recently where I told people to do exactly the same thing. Look at this man that was on that webinar, the head of DevOps at Barclays Bank. Like, that's huge. He was on the webinar and he posted it, right? And look at all the engagement like people are getting from just sharing content. This is authentic, real content. They were on the call just like this. Now let me show you another example of something that if I can scroll long enough, I'll show you how much reach you can actually get by posting on LinkedIn, by sharing authentic stories, by sharing. My internet's slow right now, so I might not be able to show you. But my point is, you should go make that post right now, and I'm gonna engage with it. And then the goal is to keep that consistency. I've had posts that have reached millions of people. I've had posts that have reached 2 million people. I've had posts that have reached 3 million people. Like, I don't even know there's up to 3 million people on LinkedIn. My point is, you can reach a lot of people. You can tell a big story, but you have to start small, and you have to start from what we talked about today. So that's all I had. I wish we could talk forever, but I want to make sure everybody has their time back. With that being said, like I said, reach out to me, follow up, all of that. But I want to take a second to thank Nesby UH for having me. I really appreciate it. I really love Nesby. Like I said, I grew up in Nesby. I think it's a phenomenal organization. Apart from being that's like the LinkedIn professional talk, like phenomenal organization. I'm excited, but I think it's just a family. Like I just love Nesby, like dead ass. Like it's just a great place, great space, great people, and I'm very happy to just be on this. And as I said, I want to make it super conversational, so we just like talk, like friend to friend, guy to gal, guy to guy, gal to gal, and just because that's the whole point. It's like we're all trying to prosper together, and that's what NSB is all about. So I'm really blessed to have this opportunity. So thanks for putting it together, and thanks for showing up.
We appreciate you, AJ. So I actually watched that series from Blademy, and I will be sending it out with that deck that you do provide.
Perfect.
If you're coming out, being real, being authentic, letting us know the real game on the virtual platform.
Boom.
But yeah, appreciate it, guys.
I love it. Wait, so if you have your webcam, if you are able to turn on your webcam, please do. I just want to take a quick shot, because I'm not just a talker. I'm not going to tell you to do something I wouldn't do. So I'm going to also take a screenshot with everyone and post it. So I know not everybody is able to share their webcam, so I know that's totally understandable. But
I'm just gonna take off my hat if that's cool, because.
Yeah, of course. That's fine. It's COVID, dog. I had to cut my hair myself and I destroyed it, but we're getting better. So I'm gonna take a let's see, I think it's Shift Commands 3. Okay. So I'm going to take a screenshot, and I guess everyone can say cheese. Boom, I love it. And feel free to all take your own shots as well. Let me make sure I got a good shot. Okay, boom, I think I got it. Perfect. Okay, so thank you everyone. Really, really enjoyed this, and take care. Wish you all the best. Please keep in contact and let's continue the conversation. I'm always happy to talk.
Thank you so much, AJ.
Thank you.